Well, that wasn't good at all. We just got done getting checked out at the ambulance. It took a few hours to get everything run through. They went ahead and brought me back after I got everything checked up. So essentially, they've got the road blocked off. We haven't moved anything. We've been nice enough and lucky enough to have some neighbors come by and let us borrow some of their equipment so that we can get this mess cleaned up. I think there's a valuable lesson to be learned with this, and basically that is to not mess around when you're driving. So hopefully some things are salvageable. It's actually really nice that we got that cleaner corn head, because I got a feeling most of this is totaled, and that is not good because this is a brand new truck. We're going to go ahead and get some of this sorted out down here by using the neighbor's 1586 International. It's got a little bit of a front attachment, so we might be able to lift some things off, and then we will go down there and pull everything back up to the road and load it up and get it back to the farm. So we're actually having to come over here, and we have to somehow figure out a way to get in this fence to push some of the stuff we have done back over to try to mitigate the damage that we have caused to this farmer's fence already. So we've got the gate open, and now we're just going to go ahead and go down to this fence and try to push everything over, and then we will use the old Ford to drag everything out back up to the road. So we've got the 1586 parked, and we've got everything pushed back over this fence with minimal damage. The header trailer is pretty much scrap, as well as the truck. It will barely turn over. There's a lot of fluids in the engine that don't need to be, and the bed is all crunched up, as well as the knives are all broken on the soybean header. So it's a total loss and just an awful thing to happen. So now we're ready to go ahead and get in our Ford. We're going to get up in here. We're going to hook this chain we've got back here and hopefully pull this truck out. So we're up in the Ford, and if you'll see, we threw the bed half back on the truck, I guess you could say, just enough to, it's attached to the frame, but it's just enough to pull it out. So we're going to go ahead and try to get this back up on the road. So we've got the semi pulled off to the side, and we're going to go ahead and get it hooked up to this trailer here in a minute. We've got the truck loaded, even though it is totaled. We are going to try to move this out of the way so we might be able to get some traffic to flow through. And then all we got to go now is retrieve the header cart, which we just need to flip over, and we can pull that out with the International. So we got this thing hooked up and flipped over. As you can see, it's pretty badly bent up, so we're going to go pretty much and scrap this as well. We're going to stick them behind our new farm just down the road, and we guess we'll see what happens after that. So we're back at the home shop, and we've decided to basically put this equipment in our tree line, and one day we'll probably take it and scrap it. But for now, it's going to sit back here out of the way where it doesn't get in the way of other things. So we've arrived back at the scene. Basically, like I said, we're going to push the soybean header over here and get that disposed of. We will grab this semi, hook it up to the low bed, and go and take this over in the tree line too. We'll come back, load up the soybean header, and then we will move on to something else for the day. Alright, we've got the soybean head pushed out of the way. Now we're going to hop up into this old 80s Peterbilt, get this attached to our trailer, and head to the farm. Now that we're up in the Peterbilt Cat, we're going to go ahead, pull around this. We'll get the ambulance back on its way to the hospital, and then pull the farmer's truck out of the way so we can get this traffic flowing again. So since we were at the farm, we got the 5088, and we pulled the truck off the trailer where its final resting place will be. Maybe one day we'll get back to replacing this, put a new engine in it, buff anything out, and maybe we can get it up and running. But now all there's left to do is to go grab the soybean head and bring it back to the farm. So we just got done putting the soybean head up on the semi, and now basically we are just going to take this back to the farm and offload it by the other junk. So we've got this fully dragged off now. Basically all that's left to do is to have the neighbor come and pick up the semi. He already got his tractor, and then we're gonna go ahead and jump on into some planting. So definitely in the future, that truck and the setup was very nice. I think we might have to take a look into that because honestly, it could be beneficial once we start upgrading in the near future. So nonetheless, we've got our grain drill out. We're going to pull the corn planter out and go ahead and plant some corn. Alright, so we're on our way to go plant some fields, and I will say all the bouncing around after that wreck, I'm very sore, so it's actually kind of wearing me out, and it doesn't feel the greatest, but nonetheless we got to push through because we have to get these fields in so these crops can start growing. So we arrived at our first field. This is actually the field that was in fallow. We disced it up and made it into a field, so we're going to go ahead and put its first crop that I know of on this ground. With the 7000 series planter hooked up to the 4440, we are going to be planting corn. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right on into it. So we are heading back to the other farm right now because that was the last cornfield we're going to plant. The rest we'll put in beans. So we're going to go ahead and run this over to the old farm, and eventually we'll bring it back to the new farm, and then we will grab the 4020 and hook it up to the sprayer. So we're finally arrived back at the farm. Now all that's left to do is to hop on the John Deere and get it hooked up to the sprayer, fill the 4020 up with the sprayer, and then we will go back to the field. So we now have our 4020 fully filled up. We've got the sprayers topped off, so we're going to go ahead, head over to that field, and hopefully get some weed control because they're pretty bad, and then at some point we'll have to come spray these before we put the beans down as well. So currently we have arrived at our field with the 4020 and the sprayer. We're going to go ahead and unfold the booms and make sure it's calibrated right and that it's all coming out and the nozzles aren't clogged, so we're going to go ahead and do that, and I will meet you when that is finished up. So all the nozzles seem to be ready to go. Everything seems like it has pretty much been repaired when we did repair it, so I think we're going to go ahead and get this field sprayed. So here we are, we're on our last pass spraying. This should pretty much do it. As you can see, we still have a little over half a tank, so we're going to go ahead and shut it off. we're going to get out and unfold it. So we moved the tractor so we didn't have to stand in the herbicide. Basically, we have got the booms folded up, but that's pretty much going to conclude it because there is a no re-entry interval in this, so we don't need to be running around in the pesticide. So we're going to go ahead and head back to the shop and get this parked. So we're just now pulling back into the farm. We're going to go ahead and park this thing in the shed, so the next day we can get over in this field here to our left and spray that as well. So we've got this thing parked in the shed, and that is pretty much going to wrap this up for today. Thank you guys so much for watching another video. I know it's been a little while, just like we said in the other video, but we've got a string of videos coming out and a couple multiplayer servers that we're in, so we're going to be pumping a lot of content out. And I know there was a lot of not realistic things about this video, unfortunately, because the map is giving us fits, but I still do appreciate it for watching. So go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one.